prepare to race onto the field. Everything is riding on this football game. So there's a special intensity, a special urgency. Here come the Volunteers. Wherever you listen throughout the world, it's football time in Tennessee.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. The Vols just wrapped up their second practice of the spring. Not a whole lot going on, kind of business as usual, but one thing worth noting, and that is a couple of players were trying out a different position, and that's always a hot topic. It's always a conversation that fans like to have during the spring. You know, last year we talked about maybe a guy like Laneith Whitehead could move over to linebacker because of the lack of depth there throughout spring practice. Now we had a couple of different players moving around. We'll get into it. We'll talk about it. It's always, again, one of those hot topics during the spring. It's kind of several questions that get asked every year around this time. Who looks the part? Who looks the part out there? Who flashes? Who's the guy that we're going to talk about in spring and get excited about? Who flashes in spring practice? And then, as I said, why don't they move player X to position Y? So we'll get into it. We'll talk about who's moving around. But as always, do me a favor, go ahead and smash that like button just below the video. It's quick, it's free, it's easy, it helps the channel. Also, if you're new to the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts, we're not insiders, we're not media. We are not trying to deceive anybody. We are fans just like you. So if you enjoy the content, make sure you subscribe, click that bell for notifications. You won't miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's dive into who is moving around. It's on the defensive side of the ball. Looking back at the secondary, Jalen McCullough and Trayvon Flowers were repping at the star position. And interesting enough, this is a conversation that came up last night when we were talking about the needs on the defensive side of the ball, the needs at linebacker, the needs in the secondary. It got brought up, maybe you can move a guy like Jalen McCullough down into the star position. And something that we've been looking for, or I personally have been looking for, is when can a guy like Christian Charles or Tamarian McDonald really start to push Trayvon Flowers or Jalen McCullough? And interesting enough, after the first practice when Josh Heupel met with the media, he talked about the leadership of Trayvon Flowers and the leadership of Jalen McCullough. Those two guys are seniors. It's time for them to take a step up. Alontae Taylor gone, Theo Jackson gone, Matthew Butler gone. Somebody has to step up and lead on this defense. And maybe it sounds like I'm beating a dead horse. It's something that I repeat constantly, but it's the truth. It's early. It's spring practice. It's when those leadership roles are filled. So who's going to step up and do that? But it's interesting that he mentioned Trayvon Flowers and Jalen McCullough because they are guys that are regularly questioned by this fan base as guys that are not getting it done. So it's going to be fun to watch. I don't know if this is just a cause and effect of so many guys being beat up, banged up at the corner position. You know, you've got Warren Burrell limited throughout the spring. Kamal Haddon's out. Brandon Turnage is out. Deshaun Rucker's out. This secondary is beat up. Tyus Fields, nowhere to be seen. MIA, dropped a video on that earlier this morning. A couple of guys that were not on the practice field, and it sounds like they may not be returning. So if you missed that video, make sure you go back and check it out. But I do think it's interesting because the star position seems to be the key position in this Tim Banks defense. We saw what it did for Theo Jackson, a guy that thrived in the position. We saw what happened when Brandon Turnage stepped in at that position. He looked great. So I kind of questioned going into this year, where do they use Turnage? Is he a guy that steps in at that star position, or do they move him outside? And you look at maybe Warren Burrell, Brandon Turnage starting on the outside. Where does Desmond Williams fit in? Can Desmond Williams, the JUCO transfer at corner, can he find himself on the field as one of the top two corners? So again, Jalen McCullough, Trayvon Flowers repping at the star position. What does that mean? Hit the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Is it a big deal or just a cause of lack of depth at the secondary position? But it is worth noting. Also, another slight position change, not really, not too big, not too drastic. Addison Nichols was working with the centers today. I think he's a guy coming in as a freshman with a lot of hype, a lot of buzz, a lot of people out there saying that's the answer for Cade Mays. Just plug Addison Nichols in there and we're good to go. I don't know that it quite works like that. That's a big ask for a true freshman when I'm looking at the tackle position as of now, I think we're gonna see Mincy lock down that fifth and final spot on the offensive line, but we'll continue to follow it throughout spring practice. It's also going to be a factor whether or not they're able to land Steen from Vanderbilt in the transfer portal, or do they go to the portal and look somewhere else, a guy that we're not even aware of at this point. But again, just a lot of questions there at that last offensive tackle position. Everything else kind of business as usual. Quarterbacks, wide receivers running routes on air. Also, the running back rotation is the same as it's been. Jabari Small, Jalen Wright, Justin Williams, and then Lenith Whitehead bringing up the back of the pack. It's a lot of people, myself included. Don't get it twisted. I'm very high on Justin Williams. I think he brings a lot to the table. But I like Jabari Small, man. I like Jabari Small. He's a guy that had a lot of buzz going into last year. Josh Heupel complimented him on his work ethic, showing up in shape, putting in the work, being the leader of that running back room. And he shined throughout the spring. And then Tyon Evans kind of beat up throughout spring. He comes in and he becomes the superstar, the hero. Whatever happened with Tyon Evans, that was a weird deal. Why he transferred out, I don't know if it was a matter of not buying in. Something wasn't clicking there. Tyon Evans transfers out. Jabari Small's coming in as the leader of this running back room once again. But I think Justin Williams can eventually be that 1-2 punch with Jabari Small. I think he can pass up Jalen Wright. But as of right now, I think it's Small, Wright, Williams. I think that's the order. And Justin Williams is going to have to earn it. If he wants playing time, he's going to have to earn it. He's going to have to put in the work. And it looks like he is a guy that's willing to do that. He showed up at spring camp in absolute phenomenal shape. He showed up on campus early enrollee, looks great, looks the part, right? That's the conversation we like to have. We like to get excited, talk about guys that look the part, guys that put in the work. Flipping that over to the wide receivers, kind of the same as yesterday. Keaton out there opposite of Cedric Tillman. And I talked about this after the first practice. I wonder if that's a matter of seniority. I wonder if that's a matter of making the young guys work to earn that spot. Jalen Hyatt still in the slot. Jimmy Callaway worked in the slot behind him. Also in the slot, no surprise, Squirrel White. That's just a guy I'm so excited about. And we can sit and watch the routes on air. I want to see him in some scrimmages. And I'm curious to see, Josh Heupel kind of talked about scrimmages. I wonder if they'll do something with some type of scrimmage open, not necessarily open to the public, but streaming something. Give us something. Give us something. If we can't attend the orange and white game, give us something. I really don't think it's the right thing to do to ask fans to drive to Knoxville to sit and watch the spring game on a big screen TV. Give us what we want. Put it out on a streaming platform. Also on the outside behind Keaton, Jimmy Holiday, Cam Miller, Chaz Nimrod, all three working on the outside. So that's your practice report for today. Again, kind of business as usual, but I think the position changes are worth noting. You know, last year on the practice reports, I would kind of jump on here and read down word for word. This guy's working here. This guy's doing that. I think this year I'm going to focus on more the things that are newsworthy, and I think the position changes are newsworthy. So I will continue to keep track of it, drop videos shorter than usual, but I'll just give you guys as much information in as short of a window of time as possible. VAWLS will be back on the practice field on Saturday, so same deal. I'll check it out, see if there's anything worth note. Continuing to follow recruiting, continuing to follow the transfer portal. If there's anything you guys want videos on, hit that comment section, let me know. Also, don't forget, what do you guys think? Flowers, McCullough, moving down to that star position. Hit that comment section. If you haven't hit that thumbs up, do it on the way out the door. Also, check out the official merchandise of the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go to bonfire.com/store/TalkinVAWLS. Any and all support is greatly appreciated. If not, that's cool too. Just appreciate you guys showing up, showing out, showing love. You guys make this channel a lot of fun for myself, Dauber, Indie Kid, and now JP and Snake back in the mix. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. But that's going to do it for this one. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.